was brilliant. Absolutely amazing. Goodness me, that was a moment in history.
Fabulous job, a really, really well put together, well presented test, maintained that lovely uphill tendency throughout the whole performance.
Very, very impressive. So impressive, such a pleasure to judge.
Goedemiddag dames en heren. Welkom op onze jaarlijkse hengstenshow van Olst. Geweldig dat u in zo'n grote getalen gekomen bent. We hadden allemaal even wat schrik met het weer, dat is ieder jaar weer een issue. Gaan we het wel of niet buiten doen, het weer. Maar ja, zo nu lijkt de zon. De zon staat erop, alles mooi van elkaar. We gaan zien dat we er een mooie show van maken. We komen binnen met Jayson. Jayson is een jonge Johnson uit de negere moeder. En daar willen we dan graag mee openen. C.D. Smith is de Amazone.
So Gert-Jan welcomes everybody. The crowd,
Jayson,
a lot of people coming to watch the show live.
Altijd wel goed gedaan, maar we zitten een klein
The first
beetje
stallion
zo wat,
will be
wat
Jayson.
paden. Dus die heeft
Jayson
een tijdje niet uitgebracht geweest.
Has a height of 170, is born in 2014, approved for the KWP in Oldenburg, Hanover, and the NRPS Stadbook. He's ridden today by C.D. Smith. Gert-Jan explains they have a lot of horses at the moment, so he might be a little bit behind schedule, but he's doing really well. Also the offsprings are doing nicely. He stamps a lot of his black collar, good technique and mechanics to his offsprings. He's ready to go into the Grand Prix and will soon be going on shows again.
Jayson van Johnson, dames en heren. En dan
Jayson is an offspring of Johnson, out of a mother of Negro, and then Wisconsin.
In de fokkerij heeft hij geweldig veel belangrijke rollen vervuld. Negro is
so bred from two preferent top producers, both of which have proved themselves in the big ring.
Een interessante modelijn waar deze hengst komt. Hij is inmiddels 12 jaar, 1,70 groot, goedgekeurd bij meerdere stamboeken in Nederland, onder meer bij het NRPS en bij het KWPN. Jayson van Johnson Negro.
Ja, Bert, inderdaad, achter deze Jayson zit natuurlijk een van de beroemdste merries van de Nederlandse KWPN-fokkerij. Dat is Karin, de Apollo-merrie. En uit die Karin zijn natuurlijk verschrikkelijk veel goede dressuurbanen.
Jayson has a very strong dam line. He goes back to the mare Karin, which was very influential mare on the Dutch sport and breeding, produced many top dressage horses and approved stallions, but also jumping horses on high level. Of course, combined with Negro, it's a very strong dam line with a strong hind leg and a lot of talent for the collection.
En open en alles, en dus het is een klein beetje kijken en schipperen, maar voorlopig pakt deze Jayson het heel goed aan. Je ziet het mooie wissels, mooi doorgesprongen, mooi voor omhoog, mooi blijft, mooi op het achterbeen.
Jayson proved himself already in the Powerdale Cup as a young horse. Was qualified for the World Championships for young horses, which could not take place due to Corona.
En heel getalenteerd.
He's showing nice flank changes, big and true. He might not have too many offsprings so far, but the offsprings that are there are doing really well, getting good results, both in breeding and in sports.
In de grote ring op Grand Prix niveau zometeen toch zijn werk gaat doen en zijn naam gaat maken.
Deze laat zich fantastisch zien met Sadie Smith hier. Grand Prix klaar en daar gaan we dus dit jaar nog absoluut meer van horen in de sport. In de gulden de dressuurkleur, dames en heren, alhoewel een goed paard heeft een kleur zeggen. Kijk er nog even, misschien nog een klein muziekje achter. Het is wat veel wind ook, je hoort ook even iets aan de microfoon. Dus we houden het wat rustiger dan normaal, dacht ik met Extra, dat lijkt wel goed.
It's quite windy, so that might have some influence on the horses today, but this Jayson is showing himself nicely. Good tempi changes here. A lot of talent for collection. Jayson will be available by Frozen Seaman this year.
Mooie actie in de sprong, heeft een mooi doorgestapt, mooi door het lijf. Actief.
So here we go to the last rounds of this first stallion this afternoon at Jayson by Johnson, Negro, Wisconsin. 12 years old and ready for Grand Prix. The next stallion will be Frederick, born in 2019, size of 172. This base stallion is licensed for the KWP in Oldenburg and Hanover and has 5 Grand Prix stallions in line in his pedigree. He's by 4 Romans, Fiedertans, De Niro, Welte 2 and Rubinstein, ridden here by his rider Lottie Fry.
Super mooi in het front, dames en heren. Excellent in de beweging. Komt met veer, met lossigheid binnen. Dit is binnenkomen zoals het hoort. Het is een echte eye-catcher, deze Frederick wordt jaar na jaar mooier. Hij is natuurlijk nog jong van 2019. Die jaren is die bespiering nog weer sterker geworden.
7 years old stallion, comes in with a lot of presence, a lot of suppleness and swing.
Alle ins en outs van de hengst.
He's really growing up and every year gets more muscular, more mature.
Hij is eigenlijk helemaal op niveau qua africhting. Frederick die kocht ik als 2,5-jarige.
Etienne bought him as a 2.5-year-old stallion in Germany. He wanted to have some other blood for his breeding station.
En Frederick die doet het tot nu toe eigenlijk heel goed. Hij is eigenlijk, ja, hij doet helemaal wat we eigenlijk...
He's really on schedule for his sports career. And also for his stallion station. Hertjan was looking for a stallion that has a lot of ease in his way of acting and moving. And that certainly succeeds with this Frederick. He unites the best blood that Germany has to offer. His dam, Rihanna, is also the half-sister of the international dressage horse, Duke of Swing. So with his 3 bloodlines, Frederick is a welcome addition to the KWPN breeding program. He was approved as a 3-year-old with 84 points, good results in all stallion competitions. The first foals seem to be really good as well. Later on we will see Taeke, which was a premium stallion from his first crop at the KWPN stallion inspection in 2026.
En dat doet hij ook inderdaad heel goed. Dat zullen we zo meteen zien met zijn zoon Taeke. Frederick die...
So Frederick fixed really well to the other stallions from the Van Olst station.
Heeft wat ik zei heel veel gelaatheid over zich. Iets wat we toch wel in onze fokkerij een beetje kunnen gebruiken. Of een beetje veel kunnen gebruiken. De stap, de gelaatheid en dat voegt deze...
He has a really good walk, this Frederick, a lot of ease. And that's something in the modern breeding is always very valuable.
Heel comfortabel en heel makkelijk paard. Hij komt nou misschien zo een beetje ietsje kijkerig over, maar goed, dat is...
Etienne is explaining that he might look a little bit spooky today, but that's a little bit because the circumstances are a little different than they used to be the daily work. But in general, this horse is very easy, very comfortable to ride and to sit on. He already proved himself at ZZ Soir level.
Dat doet hij eigenlijk ook heel goed, heeft hele goede techniek. Hij laat alles eigenlijk heel
In training he shows a good talent for piaffe and passage, for collection.
Is natuurlijk iets een moeilijke leeftijd voor zulke paarden, wat betreft de concoursen. Hij is inmiddels wel klaar voor de lichte tour. Dus hij zal binnenkort wel Prix Saint-George gaan starten.
He's ready for small tour. Soon will compete at the Prix Saint-George. So he's really good on schedule and shows a lot of talent for the future as well.
Wat weinig gelopen en bij ons het probleem is natuurlijk bijvoorbeeld voor een WK dat wij met deze paarden die eigenlijk Duits gefokt zijn, ook in Duitsland selectiewedstrijden moeten gaan rijden. En in de regel is dat bij ons praktisch toch wel iets moeilijk. Ook omdat Lotte natuurlijk met een internationale kalender zit en dat soort dingen. Dus vandaar dat we met Frederik vorig jaar iets minder wedstrijden gereden hebben.
Etienne is explaining last year he might have done a little less shows because he has a German life number. He should do the qualifications for the World Championships, for example, in Germany, which is not so easy to combine with the international shows Lotte is doing. But he's doing really well in training, proved himself already national level in the Netherlands and is now ready for Prix Saint-George. Still has to be he's turning 7 and already shows good talent for collection with good reactions in the hind leg. Etienne is explaining he has everything he needs for a future Grand Prix horse. He has the presence, the quality, but for sure also the character, the willingness to perform. So now we will see his son, Taeke, the son of Frederik, Everdale and Johnson. Only 3 years old, this stallion. He has his breeding license for the KWPN for this year. Here he is by hand, Taeke. 3-year-old premium stallion, Taeke. See the resemblance with his father, Frederik. Same beautiful neck. Taeke is bred by Van Olst horses. This is a son of Frederik and Novalis. Novalis is a daughter by Everdale and Johnson. She got a few offsprings by embryo transfer. Novalis herself was a very good performing mare before she was sold to the USA. She became an elite mare in the KWPN with a really high score in the mare test. Taeke is still a very young stallion to see with a lot of blood and a lot of modern type. He's maybe at the moment not the tallest stallion of all, but he has a good conformation and surely will grow into it.
Komt al in van Bretagne VDL, dat was een Canadees teampaard. Een moederlijn die eigenlijk goed presteert. En ja, dit is echt een mooi, heel mooi compleet paard. We hebben hem ook
the mother Novalis is also a daughter of the Grand Prix Keur stallion Everdale, and then also bred, combined with the Grand Prix stallion Johnson. He is already a little bit ridden, shows his talent you can see here by hand, also under the saddle. But he will do the performance test this autumn. Will be nicely prepared for that. One more round. Jayson is asking for this Taeke, 3-year-old premium stallion, the KWPN, son of O. Frederik, Everdale and Johnson. Beautiful modern son by his father, O. Frederik. Now we will see a foal. A foal of O. Frederik. O. Frederik out of a mother of Apache, bred by the family Knaap. Here she is, it's a filly.
Ja, en ook Frederik, medeveulen van een familie Vervoren, uit een Apache-moeder. Mooi, modern, luxe, langgelijnd veulen.
Led by the family Vervoren, Jayson is explaining. Beautiful, tall, modern foal with really good mechanics.
Toch mooi te laten zien. Komt mooi voor omhoog. Veel uitdrukking.
It's a nice uphill tendency.
Veel mechaniek, lekker de buigingen en de gewrichten. Ja, gewoon de veulen met veel toekomst kijken. Ziet er heel goed uit.
A filly with a lot of presence and a beautiful future ahead.
Dit is waar je voor fokkers voor doet.
Great to see already a filly of from this year from O. Frederik. This is a filly by O. Frederik and Apache. Congratulations to the breeder, family Vervoort. Next stallion will be Bretagne VDL with a size of 170, born in 2022, so 4 years old. This Oldenburg approved stallion by Be Sure, Secret and Totilas. Ridden today by Lucas. So Bretagne VDL by Be Sure, who won the Bundeschampionate as a 6-year-old and now is performing really well at small tour level, combined with Secret, the famous son of Sezuan, and then we have Totilas in the pedigree.
Bretagne heeft op het moment een druk bestaan. Gisteren is hem aan de andere kant van Nederland geweest.
He has a busy schedule, this Bretagne. He was yesterday on the other side of the Netherlands at the stallion show of the VDL stad.
Jonge Bichour die maakt op dit moment eigenlijk furoren onder Isabel Weg. Doet het eigenlijk heel goed. Laat heel veel aanleg zien voor de zwaarste dingen. Deze Bretagne is vorig jaar in Oldenburg gekeurd.
Jayson is explaining that Be Sure is ridden now, the father of this Bretagne, by Isabel Wert. She's a good talent for the high levels.
Die maakt veel furoren met Isabel Wert nu. Maar daarachter zit Secret moeder.
Bretagne was approved last year in the Oldenburg Stadbook.
Er is een internationale Grand Prix merrie. Dus sport, mooie sport.
And the Grand Dam of this Bretagne is an international Grand Prix mare, Mount St. John Top Secret, ridden by Alexander Harrison, who was sold to Spanish rider Santiago Damil last year, and they will try to qualify for the World Championships. The first foals are born already from this Bretagne VDL. Jayson is explaining, and he says we can really see the same type of the father in the foals already. It's an interesting pedigree, combination of Be Sure, Secret, and then the international Grand Prix mare by Totilas. This stallion is easy to handle. Yesterday he was in the north of the Netherlands and the Stallion Show. And here he's already showing himself again in a really cool way, performing really well.
Goed bij de les hier, lekker cool in de baan deze Bretagne VDL. Zoals Gert-Jan al zei, interessant doet om weer toe te passen op de fokkerij met de hengsten die we hier al hebben bij Van Olst Horses. Kijk naar de hele mooie ruim gesprongen galopade. Nou, die fantastische mooie berg op. De power vanuit die achterhand brengt die achterhand ver onder de massa.
There's a lot of suppleness and big mover, this Bretagne VDL.
Vladimir Sure was op 4-jarige leeftijd al kampioen in Denemarken. En dan kijken we nog even naar de stap. Hengst met 3 goede basisgangen.
Now showing his walk here on the diagonal, ridden by Lucas.
Met de Totilas dochter daarachter, die op hoogste niveau succesvol was.
Showing himself in a very mature way, this only 4-year-old Bretagne VDL by Bishore, Secret and Totilas.
Anders zou ik zeggen, rondje voor de vakkers, dan even genieten van de Bretagne VDL.
Ja, nou, we laten zo meteen nog even de veulen van de zien, dat we zelf geflokt hebben.
Afterwards we will see a foal bred by Van Olst horses.
Mooie prestatie van Lucas Fernandez, Spaans, dames en heren, hier met de Bretagne VDL. En ook die hengst maakt indruk vandaag.
So he's proving himself in breeding, the only 4-year-old Bretagne VDL.
Maar we willen toch even onder de aandacht brengen, vandaar dat we hier de 6-jarige Paddington laten zien.
Now we will see a son of Lantanas. Gert-Jan is explaining Lantanas has a little injury, so he's recovering from that. But they want to show his son Paddington.
Heel mooi paard, bloedmooi paard. Paard dat zich heel goed laat bewerken. Stap eraf, galop goed. Die rijdt hem. Hij ontwikkelt zich heel goed. Heeft natuurlijk als 6-jarig wat jaar ook een beetje die moeilijke leeftijd wat concoursen betreft.
He's ridden here by Sadie Smith, this 6-year-old Paddington. He's developing really well. Did good in some young horse classes. This Paddington is a half-brother to Nacho, which we will see later on this afternoon.
Mooie paarden, paarden met heel veel beweging. Met name die rijke voorhanden, daar brengt Lantanas.
Gert-Jan is explaining that Lantanas brings a lot of good movements to his offsprings, and especially the forehand, the good front leg, and a lot of suppleness is typical for the offsprings of Lantanas. Like this 6-year-old Paddington is a modern dressage horse with a good character. Paddington himself is also an approved stallion in the NRPS stud book. He was not offered for breeding yet. He's first focusing on his sports career.
Kan Lantanas zelf dat nog een beetje oplossen. En dat geeft ons de kans met dit paard om verder in de sport door te doen.
Waar Lantanas op zijn beurt de zoon van Sir Donnerhal, uit de mening van Hemingway, de Zuidhoorn Eros.
So this 6-year-old Paddington is a son of Lantanas, the son of Sir Donnerhal, Hemingway, Zuidhoorn and Eros. From a very strong dam line, Lantanas. Not shown today, but here we see a good offspring, a typical offspring by Lantanas.
Extended trot. Denk je. Je ziet het is gewoon echt een heel mooi moderne dressuurpaard.
Beautiful modern dressage horse. This Paddington with the typical suppleness and swing. that Lantanas gives to his offsprings.
Ook Lantanas, dames en heren. We hebben zo dadelijk nog een Lantanas nakomeling hier op de show. Maar dit was Paddington Lantanas Krekzee met Sadie Smith.
Oké, Sadie, thank you.
On the offsprings of Lantanas.
Lantanas uit de mening van Inspire. In bezit van Olst Horses en de B van de Horen.
The next will be Tiesto Door, the son of Lantanas and Inspire.
Die hebben we op de afgelopen KWPN-keuring voorgesteld. Die we hier doorverwezen naar de tweede bezichtiging.
Tiesto is a 3-year-old stallion. He was presented in the first viewing of the KWPN. He was selected for the second round but got a little injury, so he could not be shown there. But fully recovered now.
Maar u ziet het ook, dit paard heeft een hele mooie voorhand, beweegt heel makkelijk.
This stallion has a lot of presence, a lot of swing in the body, a very nice forehand, a real eye catcher, this 3-year-old Tiesto Door. Next stallion will be Pjethro, the 6-year-old stallion by Kento, Desperado, Houston and Zevenster. Here he is, 6-year-old, ridden by Lottie Fry, Pjethro. The sun is out. Beautiful stallions here this afternoon. And world-class rider Lottie Fry in the saddle. Here we will be looking at Pjethro.
Dit is de meeting. Dit is toekomst. Renzo.
Ja, Bert, jij zegt bloedmooi, 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 maar je vergeet iets te vertellen. Je vergeet te zeggen dat die bloed veel kwaliteit heeft.
Ja, maar dat moet aan jou over, dat mag je even vertellen.
Oké, prima. Ja, je ziet het, het is een en al talent, een en al beweging, een paard waar alle versnellingen op zitten. Hij kan groot, hij kan klein.
Hertjan is explaining this stallion has really a lot of quality. He can go big, he can go small. He has a lot of mechanics. He has a super back and connection in the back and in the loins. The hind leg is always going into the right direction. Hertjan is explaining that watching Pjethro is a joy. Every day you have the possibility to watch him. His first offsprings are promising. He won all the stallion competitions in the last stallion competition from the KWPN with really high scores. He was approved as a 3-year-old with 87 points, with 9s for his trot, self-carriage and balance and rideability.
Een klant van ons waar we eigenlijk van Pjethro al 3 of 4 generaties paarden van voor de keuring hadden hebben. Zijn moeder was een hele mooie mens.
Hertjan is explaining that he works already really long together with the breeder. Has 4 generations already offsprings on the mare test. The mother of this Pjethro was also a beautiful mare. Typical for this dam line is that it's the mares and the offsprings have a beautiful model, performing well at mare shows and mare tests. And on top of that, have a lot of potential and quality for the higher levels in sports, which we also can see in this Pjethro. The breeder at Berens, possibly also here.
Ah, daar zit hij.
Gert-Jan is talking to the breeder, which is here in Den Hout, and explains him he can be really proud of this beautiful 6-year-old stallion, Pjethro. Also, the talent for collection is very natural for this stallion. He can very easily sit and collect. And he will get a good education, of course, by Lottie Fry, step by step, growing into the levels up to the Grand Prix.
Wat hij gaat doen. En de eerste signalen lijken bijzonder goed. Dus echt Pjethro.
The first crop of foals are looking really good. Gert-Jan is explaining. He wants to also show Pjethro on a few shows, competitions.
Ook een belangrijk ding is voor ons, alleen dat wordt praktisch iets moeilijk.
Gert-Jan is now explaining that Pjethro will also participate in the qualifications for the World Championships. Only difficulty this year is that the World Championships for young horses and the World Championships in Aachen this year are very closely to each other, so that they will have to have a look how they can make a good plan, if it's possible to combine. But anyway, this Pjethro is showing a lot of potential for the future. And then we can look at the manes. They all have a different color in the manes. All offsprings by Pjethro. These are 1-year-old mares. They had a good size, with a good movement. And
de bruine grote medie is gefokt door Adi van der Doelen. Dus we zien, dan hebben we nog een van meneer Kostet en is Donnerhal, de kleinere zwarte.
The tall black one is from a Fürstenball mare.
Maar eigenlijk een groepje mooie, grote, langgelijnde medies. En je ziet het allemaal beweging. Volgens mij ben ik erg goed voor ze, want ze komen allemaal naar mij toe.
Good movement and good mechanics. And they obviously, like Gert-Jan, they always come to him. Show a lot of swing, a lot of presence, modern dressage horses. Good conformation, good size.
Iets echt je krijgt zo een heel mooi beeld. Je ziet de lossigheid in het voorbeen, hoe makkelijk ze bewegen. En ze blijven mooi aansluiten.
One out of a Fürstenball mare, one of the Sir Donnerhall mare.
Gewoon hele fijne paarden. Dus dit is een navolg van
All
Pjethro.
5 are 1-year-old mares by Pjethro.
Kijk, lossigheid en ze blijven lopen.
Always nice to see offsprings of the stallion. Always nice to see a group. Every year in Den Hout we see a group of young horses. Always some promising horses here. Nice to see. The light blue in the mains was by Pjethro and Florencio. The green in the mains was by Pjethro and Sir Donnerhall.
Lekker in vrijheid, veel lossigheid. Echt heel positief. Het is mooi om zo even te laten zien. Dan zie je gelijk zo'n hele groep in. Dan zie je gelijk ook een beetje.
Gert-Jan is now explaining as well. It's nice to see a group because you can see the resemblance in all 5 with the good connections, a lot of swing in the body, good size, good conformation, and the really strong hind leg. Gert-Jan is explaining he expects a lot of the breeding of Pjethro.
Gaan we nu naar Nespresso. Ja. Met, ik dacht, Sadie Smith in het zadel.
Now we will see Nespresso.
Sinds een paar weken en het ziet er heel goed uit. Doordat Lottie erg druk had.
Lottie is of course very busy these days. So now Nespresso will be shown by Sadie Smith with a size of 170. This dark bay Stallion is approved in the KWPN, the NRPS, and born in 2009.
Ja, daar zijn we echt een beetje aan het voorbereiden en we zullen nu even gaan kijken naar zijn kwaliteiten.
He's ridden since a few weeks by Sadie Smith, who will show him also on competitions. Here he is, Nespresso by Negro, Tenerife and Fleming. Nespresso is really a copy of Negro in his younger days. He really has a big talent for the most difficult exercises, a real Grand Prix machine with 5 extremely good basic gaits: walk, trot, canter, piaffe and passage, combined with an exceptional mentality and attitude. This Nespresso. Already performed at international Grand Prix level with Lottie Fry, taking, for example, a second place in the freestyle with 77%.
Ja, Nespresso is een hengst die we eigenlijk als 3-jarige aankochten. We hebben het paard gewoon opgeleid. Anne heeft hem eigenlijk...
Nespresso was bought as a 3-year-old.
Opgeleid tot de Grand Prix niveau. Hij is relatief weinig mee geweest op concours. Maar het is een paard dat ongelooflijk...
Developed to the Grand Prix level by Anne herself. He might not have done a lot of shows in his younger years, but always showed himself as a real Grand Prix star. Really a good talent for piaffe and passage. Beautiful mechanics.
Ja, een beetje door de omstandigheden te weinig mee geweest is op concours. Nou ja, we hopen dat er nu verandering in komt. Dit wordt wel tijd. Kijk, dit doet hij allemaal zo makkelijk. Hij sluit, hij opent en hij blijft komen. Komt met zijn achterbeen. Mooi buiging in de gewrichten. Super getalenteerd paard.
Really easy for him, this piaffe passage, the collection.
Goede dingen gedaan.
Transitions from piaffe to passage.
En eigenlijk hebben we de meeste tijd nog een beetje gefocust op de sport. En eigenlijk, wat ons betreft, is het nu, willen we eigenlijk dat hij is nu 14 jaar, 15 jaar, we willen eigenlijk die laatste 2 jaar, willen we hem eigenlijk nog als kan zoveel mogelijk tot zijn recht laten komen in de sport.
The focus stays a little bit on the sports career.
Hij beheerst alles super in de Grand Prix. Dus
I hope to have a few more good seasons with this Nespresso in the Grand Prix.
Ja, wat dat betreft, dan daar komt die dekkerij. We doen hem alleen beschikbaar stellen met diepvriesverven, maar omdat we er echt op willen focussen.
Because of the focus on sport, he's only available by frozen semen for this season.
Zal zo denk ik ook nog wel een paar onder pas laten zien. Ja, passage, alles goed. Dus alles.
There's also really good canter and easy flying changes.
Weer als hij weer ietsje terug met CD-vorm is om mee op concours te gaan en te gloriëren in de Grand Prix. Ja, dus alleen, we doen hem dus alleen van het jaar via diepvries beschikbaar stellen. Echt om 2 jaar nog een naam te laten maken op het hoogste niveau.
Focus stays on sports for this season. Jan expects him to have a few more really good shows ahead in the International Grand Prix.
Allemaal toe gaat leiden in de Grand Prix met deze zoon van Negro, Tenerife Fleming, Nespresso. Beetje de beelden van de Olst, dames en heren, dat we zoveel paarden op het hoogste niveau acteren. dat er niet altijd tijd is om ze uit te brengen. Maar met Celi nu kan dat helemaal. Kijk eens hoe prachtig mooi. Hier die passage van de Nespresso. Heel veel afdruk. Heel mooi silhouet in de dressuurbaan.
Beautiful moments here from Nespresso in the Piaf Passage. Transitions very easy, very natural for this stallion.
And
the next stallion is also by a son of Negro, and it will be Nacho. Nacho will be presented by Henry Hoswell, a British rider. Shortly here at Van Olst. Henry already himself rode Grand Prix. And here we see Nacho, the size of 176, this black stallion, born in 2018, approved for the KWPN and Hanover Stadbook, a son of Negro, Krekse, Fruling, Dublin and Nimmerdor. And he, like I said before, he's a brother to Paddington, the 6-year-old son of Lantanas, out of the same dam. This Nacho is by Negro. He's a stallion that's really easy to handle and also gives that to his offspring. He brings a lot of ease and a good mentality to his offsprings, also a good size. It's very typical for the offsprings of Nacho.
De krek, nee, die krek Fruling, die ben die fokt eigenlijk heel goed. Hebben hele fijne kinderen van.
The dam of Nacho, the Krekse Fruling mare, always gives good quality to her offsprings, like Paddington and Nacho. Nacho is ready for small tour and will soon be shown at that level. He's a very long-lined, well-built stallion himself. He has an enormous front and a good willingness to work with a good rideability. Very important in the modern dressage. Typical good canter from his father Negro.
Lichte tour, sowieso, daar is hij klaar voor. En dan hopelijk zometeen wat verder. En dan liever over een jaar of zo wat richting de Grand Prix.
He's ready for small tour. Will be presented this season in the small tour. And at the meantime, he will also be prepared for a career in the Grand Prix.
Hadden we dus van de Lantana-zone Paddington die we eerder op de show zagen. Ook we dus van de Samba-makers zijn uit.
It's a nice combination here with Henry, new rider at Van Olst horses.
Henry Boswell.
Show the next stallion named N. Spartacus, a son of Nacho we just saw out of a dam by Jazz. This 4-year-old N. Spartacus is approved in the NRPS Stadbook, very easy to handle. A horse with a good willingness to work and a very good rideability, which is also typical for Nacho himself and also here for his son in Spartacus, the son of Nacho, out of a mother by Jazz, bred by H. Vertriest.
Mensen die op kunnen stappen, die weg kunnen rijden met die paarden. En dat hebben de afstammelingen van Nacho, die zijn heel makkelijk. En dit is ook typisch zo'n...
It's a typical thing for offsprings of Nacho, that they're very easy to handle, easy to ride. Horses where clients can just go on and ride them easily.
Paardentelling nog niet heel veel ervaring heeft, een paard dat misschien
He didn't see much in his sports career so far, but he's proving himself here as an easy to handle horse, and he might perform in the Pavel Cup, the Dutch Young Horse Championships, later this year.
Heel fijn paard, typische Nacho nakomeling die we graag even laten zien.
It's a typical offspring of Nacho, Gert-Jan is explaining. That's why he likes to show this. And Spartacus, only 4 years old. Approved for the NRPS studbook himself.
Voor zo'n vierjarig paard ook heel indrukwekkend ambiance hier vanmiddag. Leren ze toch weer heel veel van. Dat het zonnetje ons even in de steek laat en de wind ietsjes aantrekt.
There's a lot of wind at the moment. The sun is gone for a moment, but this and Spartacus is showing himself in a really good way. Only 4 years old. The next stallion will be Renzo. Again, shown by Lottie Fry. She has a very busy schedule this afternoon. This Renzo, 5-year-old son of Kento, out of a dam by Russo and Saros, a size of 171, approved in the KWPN Stadbook Oldenburg and Hanover Stadbook. Has already a strong list of results. He was 5th in the Pavel Cup in 2025. He won the stallion competition in Groningen. He won the finals. And he was twice 2nd in the stallion competition with really high scores. On top of that, he had also some top prize foals at the Van Olst Foals sales. As a son of Kento, who became twice world champion, and then combined with a mother by Russo and Saros, the dam also gave the dam Aronia also gave the Grand Prix horse Indian Summer and another Grand Prix horse Journalist. So strong dam line. Renzo is a very modern horse, a really top talent, showing a lot of quality, a lot of swing, a lot of suppleness. And a beautiful modern type. The winner of the stallion competition. He has a very good walk. He's really uphill by himself. A very complete stallion, a very modern and complete dressage stallion. The first crop of foals were very promising last year. He has a lot of suppleness in the body. A lot of uphill tendency, a lot of swing. Gert-Jan bought him as a foal from the family Reiring, the breeder, and he was always very charming, this Renzo, also as a foal and a 1-year-old himself. It might not have been the easiest weather conditions to start his presentation, but he's showing a good focus, a good willingness. Lottie is solving the little problems really well, of course, and bit by bit he's showing himself even better. For the modern dressage breeding, you need, of course, horses with a lot of go.
De houding, de mooie natuurlijke houding, mooi de hals erop, mooi bergop.
And a natural uphill tendency, something that Renzo really shows here today. And again, we will see two one-year-old mares, both by Renzo. They're both bay, but one is a little bit more dark. There they are.
De donkerbruine is Vivace Nara van de Kairos. Dat is een jaarling mee van Renzo Vivaldi, gepakt.
So the darkest one is by Renzo and Vivaldi, and the other bay mare, one-year-old mare, is by Renzo and UB40. The next stallion will be Sundale. Sundale, a 4-year-old stallion by Glamourdale, Vivaldi and Houston, with a size of 167. Born in 2022 and approved for the KWPN studbook. Here he is. Lucky, the sun is back.
Die vorig jaar gekeurd is, vorig jaar verrichtingen gewonnen heeft. En is eigenlijk een hengst waar wij
approved last year in the KWPN studbook. Gert-Jan is explaining he has a lot of expectations from this 4-year-old Sundale, who really looks like his father, Glamourdale. It's a horse that really has a good rideability and 3 good basic gaits. But it's a stallion where Gert-Jan really expects a lot from in the future. He showed himself really well in the KWP10 performance test with a super rideability. He really is a little bit like a look-alike of his father, Glamourdale. Not only in the type, but also in the work. A beautiful combination here with Sadie Smith. He has good body proportion and a good rectangular conformation with a good neck, well formed and muscular, a good shoulder. The back and loins are very well muscled and connected. So a horse with a very good conformation. The next stallion will be Secret Lover. Secret Lover has a size of 1.70 m. Of course, beautiful black color, born in 2019, approved in the KWPN studbook Oldenburg and Hanover. This son of Secret, Fürstenball and Florestan. Like Gert-Jan explained with O. Frederick, he bought this stallion as a 2.5-year-old stallion because he wanted some other bloodlines in for his stallion station. So both O. Frederick and Secret Lover were bought with that perspective. He saw him already as a 2-year-old in the summer and was already very, very promising for Gert-Jan. He waited for the winter, then he was approved in the Oldenburg studbook and then came to Den Hout. Always did a very good job in sports. He has a beautiful neck and really a lot of presence, this 7-year-old Secret Lover. The first KWPN approved son of Secret, combined with a very good Holstein dam line. at first Fürstenball, Floristan, and then the Holstein dam line.
Wat instelling betreft zit het ook goed met de achtergrond van Secret Lover. Een familie daarachter, die Holsteinse familie, die bewezen heeft om prestatiepaden te brengen.
The Holstein dam line brought a lot of good sport horses with a good mentality. And Secret Lover himself was approved with 82 points in the KWPN stud book. He won the stallion competition in 2024-25. He won the Subli Cup in Amsterdam in 2025. He's trained at small tour level and shows a lot of talent for Piaf and Passage. And on top of that, from his first crop, there was an approved stallion, Thibaut, which we will see later on. He was approved at the KWPN Stallion Inspection in 2026. Gert-Jan has quite a lot of offsprings of Secret Lover himself, also some 3-year-old mares that look very promising. A very interesting stallion, both for sports and breeding. Named Thibaut, this black stallion with a size of 166. Born in 2023, and he has his KWPN breeding license. This Thibaut, son of Secret Lover, Negro and Pjethro.
Hij heette eerst Thibaut met een open eind, maar het is inmiddels een heel stuk chiquer geworden. Het is Thibaut met EAU op het eind geworden.
Here he is by hand.
Een geweldige mechaniek.
Really a lot of mechanics. A really beautiful type, Gert-Jan is explaining. Beautiful neck. It's from the first crop of Secret Lover. He's bred by Van Olst horses himself. From the mare Fresia. She's by Negro, and she also is the dam of Evegro, Irvin and Everest, the Pavo Cup winner, small tour winner. Will have already some falls next year, because Gert-Jan used him already himself on a few mares. So he's very enthusiastic about his stallion for the future. Thibaut by Secret Lover, Negro, Monaco. And now we will see a foal by an embryo transfer foal.
Secret Lover aangepaard met een echte mening van de Glammerdale, de wereldkampioen.
It's a filly by Secret Lover and Glammerdale. As said, this is not the real mom, it's an embryo transfer. But here she is, the filly.
Dit is niet de echte moeder, dit is een draagmoeder. De moeder is een Glammerdale Merrie, gefokt door de heer Koba, het poederrooien. Glammerdale Jazz.
The mother is by Glammerdale Jazz. The real mom. She was a national mare at the KWPN mare show. So the mother is a full sister to Glamrock, approved stallion in Sweden, and here combined with Secret Lover, a very young filly. But really, really good movements, a lot of presence. Bred by A. Van Balen. This beautiful filly, very young, but showed herself in a very good way. Next stallion will be Powerdale. Powerdale with a size of 174. This bay stallion, born in 2020, approved for the KWPN and Oldenburg stud book, ridden by Sadie Smith. by Glamourdale Johnson Rodiamant. Premium stallion as a young stallion in the KWPN. This 6-year-old Powerdale, son of world champion Glamourdale, and then the preference Johnson combined with the valuable blood of Rodiamant.
Volgt achter een mooi, buigen in de gewrichten. Ja, bijzonder veel uitstraling, echt een moderne dressuurpaard.
A lot of mechanics, a lot of bending in the joints.
Helemaal de goede kant op ontwikkeld. Ja, wat ik eerder al zei, had als jong paard een klein beetje aanloopproblemen. Daar staat hem denk ik een beetje in de groei en alles. Ja, zo af en toe dan heeft alles ook gewoon een beetje tijd nodig. En dat heeft hij met dit paard ook gewoon gehad.
He had a little more time, he needed a little more time to develop as a 4-year-old, 5-year-old stallion. But now he's really growing into his body, showing his really good quality. Here in the canter, was rewarded with a 9 in the performance test.
Maar dat wordt ook al een stuk beter. En ja, ook een paard dat wat ons betreft ook heel veel aandacht laat zien in het sluitwerk, ja, passage.
Gert-Jan is explaining he has a lot of potential also in the collection, showing really good moments towards Piaf and Passage already.
Zijn uitstraling. En hij is eigenlijk ook heel makkelijk te bewerken. Het ging net allemaal ietsje te vroeg.
Usually he's a very easy stallion to handle, which he shows here. Seems very promising in type and movement. Gert-Jan is explaining in the beginning he might be a little tense in the walk, but he's really developing in that and really getting more and more over track. Here they are. So 2 1-year-old colts.
Is van Powerdale Nalgro, hier gefokt bij van Olst en B van de Velde is de fokker van de bruine Powerdale Citango.
So the bay one is by Powerdale Citango and the black one is by Powerdale Negro, bred at Van Olst horses themselves. The 1-year-old, these 2 colts.
Heel mooi, goed ontwikkelde jaarlingen. Paarden met veel lossigheid eigenlijk, wat de Henk zelf ook heeft, het chique voorkomen, hebben deze jaarlingen eigenlijk ook. Uitdrukking, expressie.
It is typical for Powerdale, his expression and beautiful neck. Also you can see here in his offsprings.
En de zwart is uit de negere moeder. Die negere moeder die u net ook al zag met de Foal van Bretagne.
The black one has the same dam like the foal we saw earlier, the foal by Bretagne. So a mare with a valuable Negro in the pedigree.
Powerdale fokkerij lijkt wel heel veel belovend, moet ik zeggen. Het is een beetje, als je hem zelf ziet, is een mooi groot royaal paard met bloed, met veel uitdrukking, veel hals.
Gert-Jan is explaining the offsprings of Powerdale look very promising. The long-lined and beautiful modern type is really something specific for the offsprings of Powerdale.
Die in de fokkerij heel goede dingen gaat doen en echt een waardevolle zoon van Glamourdale. Lekkere paarden, groot, goed ontwikkeld, paarden met toekomst. Er zijn echt twee potentiële paarden die over een goed jaar een keer voor de keuring gaan komen.
Gert-Jan is explaining these 2 well-built and well-developed colts, 1-year-old colts, are really prospects for future stallion inspection.
En de hengsten zien en de navolg kunnen worden. Maakt de show helemaal compleet.
Kunnen we uit, hè?
Nice to see the offsprings of the stallions here in Den Hout. Next stallion will be Real Dream, ridden by Lottie Fry. She also has a very busy afternoon, showing all these very high quality stallions riding Real Dream. Born in 2021, so 5 years old, approved for the KWPN Oldenburg and Hanover Stadbook. This bay stallion with a size of 1,71 m. And the pedigree is by Dynamic Dream, Negro and Ulster. So back on the very strong dam line with the mare named Dolly, the UTV champion, who has produced many offsprings that stand out in sport. Real Dream already showed himself really good in sports. He got a 3rd place in the Pavo Cup final. He won twice in the stallion competitions at Peelbergen and Ezelmuiden. And he was the winner of the Perfect Pair prize at the stallion inspection at Sint-Hertogenbosch in 2026.
En meestal bepalen we de partners en dan gebruiken we hun medisch die allemaal dikwijls terugkomen op Dolly. De nationale kampioenmedie en medie die...
He works already a long time together with the breeders of this Real Dream. A very strong dam line, like I explained. Going back to the mare Dolly. And also the very important mare Karin that Gert-Jan mentioned earlier this afternoon is also behind this dam line. So a really strong dam line. A lot of horses that are performing really well in sports. As a foal, it was already a very exceptional foal. As a young stallion, Gert-Jan had a lot of confidence in him already, and he showed him under the saddle for stallion approval, which was very successful. He's developing really, really well. Gert-Jan is explaining. It's a real powerhouse. It's really, really good basic gaits. Exceptional canter, really good walk and trot. A horse with a lot of future ahead of him. And Gert-Jan is very happy to have these young talented stallions like Renzo and Real Dream for Lottie Fry to develop them into the sports for the further career. Same like he explained earlier before, they need to make a good plan considering the World Championships for young horses. We will see in summer how that will work out, but it's very clear these stallions have a lot of quality. Gert-Jan is explaining he really likes the walk of Real Dream with good mechanics and good bending in the joints and still a really good overtrack and relaxation. He called it an ideal walk for him. And also in the trot he shows a really good hind leg. It's a horse with a bright future ahead and a really workable horse. It's a real stallion to see, Gert-Jan is explaining. It's a very complete stallion as well. We will see a few offsprings. Some foals by Real Dream. Bred by the dressage stable Van Balen. An embryo transfer bred. It's a young foal. It's a colt. It's a real dream out of a Le Formidable mother. It's not even 2 weeks old. A horse, foal with a lot of presence. Beautiful head, beautiful neck. A lot of mechanics already. Oh, less than 2 weeks old. And already showing himself here in a beautiful way. This colt by Real Dream and Le Formidable.
Ja, laat ze daar al heel mooi zien. Presenteert zijn goed, veel lossigheid, veel kracht. Leek goed.
A lot of suppleness and power for such a young foal.
Bij de zuurstal van Baden. Dikkema is de fokker van het volgende veurde. Ook een hengstveurde Real Dream aangepakt met een merrie van Rhodium zodanig.
The next foal is by Real Dream out of a mother of Rhodium.
Nou, weer kijken, weer genieten, de kwaliteit ontdekken van de vader Real Dream.
So this is a colt. So by Real Dream and Rhodium. Gert-Jan is explaining it has a similar way of moving to the other foal. A lot of suppleness in the forehand. Good hind leg. Especially the mechanics is very typical for the offspring of Real Dream.
Ziet er ook heel goed uit. Ja, voor de jonge veulens is zo'n baantje toch wel heel lang.
It's a very young foal. So for them it's already a big arena.
Mooi om te zien, dames en heren. Veul aan de voet van de merrie.
Nice to see already the quality in these young foals, both by Real Dream.
Dan hebben we nog 2 jaarlingen.
And we will also see some 2 one-year-old offsprings by Real Dream.
2 jaarling hengsten, dames en heren, Valerio en
Some
Tios.
both 2 one-year-old colts.
De vos en de bruine kunnen ze dus uit elkaar houden. De vos Valerio,
both one-year-old.
is een Real Dream maal Lord Lauderdale. En de bruine gefokt bij El Heida is een Real Dream maal Lauderdale.
The chestnut is by Real Dream and Lord Lauderdale. The bay one is by...
Er komt een familie van Chippendale. Ik denk zelfs dat de moeder een volle zus is van Chippendale. Lord Lauderdale Negro. En dan de bruine is gefokt bij Jelke Heida. En die komt uit de Glemmerdale moeder.
The bay one is Real Dream out of a Glemmerdale dam. And the chestnut is by Real Dream and Lord Lauderdale. The mother is the full sister to Chippendale.
Lossigheid in de schouder, mechaniek in het achterbeen, buiging in de gewrichten. Veulens die hun eigen, jaarlingen die hun eigen presenteren.
2 one-year-olds really want to show themselves already. A lot of power, a lot of suppleness.
Veulens die hun eigen groot maken. Ja, zijn een paar aparte jaarlingen.
Jan is really enthusiastic about these 2 one-year-old colts. Really wants himself big in this main arena. He will do one more round.
En wat met name al opvalt is de versterking die ze maken. Ze komen heel mooi terug zelf en ze blijven eigenlijk in het ritme en ze verruimen weer.
What Gert-Jan really likes is the way they shift between their different gears when they make smaller steps. They keep the same rhythm and easily go into the bigger steps again. Something he really likes to see by nature in these young horses. Always nice to see the young horses and the offsprings. This black stallion, 1,70 m is the height, born in 2018, approved in the KWP in Hanover and Oldenburg Stadtbook, and of course with a very interesting pedigree. The sire is painted black, and the mother, by Negro Gershwin Heidelberg, is no less than the full sister to Allegro. So these Olympic genes combined with unlimited talented. Gert-Jan bred this Nalgro and Allegro together with the family Hanse. Allegro we will see later this afternoon.
En dan deze twee hengsten, ja, die staan dan bij ons. En een daarvan is deze Allegro. Deze geweldenaar is gewoon, ja, dat is een krachtpaard, zo ziet het er wel.
He has a lot of power.
Maar ik denk dat hij hopelijk van het jaar Grand Prix, zijn eerste stap in de Grand Prix kan gaan doen.
He's only 8 years old, but he's already ready for a Grand Prix. Might already go into Grand Prix level this year. Because the focus is really on sport. He's only available with frozen semen for this year. They really see him as one of the prospects towards the Olympics and LA, and that's why they really want him to give the chance to develop towards the Grand Prix. He has so much power, Gert-Jan is explaining. It's so easy for him, this collection. He really expects him to be a top Grand Prix horse in the future. As a young horse, he was already approved in the KWP Stadtbook with 85.5 points, including a 9 for the canter. He won the stallion competition. He did already some pre-seniors and won a few of them in 2025.
Dat is de weg dus die we van het jaar gaan bewandelen. We gaan met hem zien dat hij wat Grand Prix ervaring op gaat doen. En daarom is hij ook eigenlijk alleen diepvries beschikbaar. Dat is echt waar we
really want to focus on sport this year. Gert-Jan is explaining.
Er inmiddels al een paar mooie driejarigen van. En hij lijkt ook echt zijn kracht door te fokken. Wat hij met name
Gert-Jan has a lot of 3-year-olds already. And the strong connection that's really typical for the dam line. The dam line from Allegro is also something that's really typical for the offsprings of Nalgro.
Op de lende, ruglende. En ja, dat hebben deze paard ook. Dat heeft deze Allegro. Dat heeft zometeen Allegro, die we zometeen nog laten zien, zijn halfbroer.
So that's typical for this family. So for Nalgro, but also for Allegro, which we will see later on. A very good connection in the back and in the loins. That makes it really easy for them to not only do piaffe and passage, but also to do the transitions between piaffe and passage. Only 8 years old, showing already all the talent in all Grand Prix movements. Nalgro. He has a lot of energy, always a good willingness to work. Something very important for the high level in dressage. And he has, on top of all this, a really good walk with a good overtrack, bending in the joints. Again, a beautiful presentation by Lottie Fry, showing this only 8-year-old Grand Prix potential Nalgro. Now we will see Vamos Junior. A 3-year-old stallion, size 168, base stallion, approved for Westphalian and the KWPN stud book. A lot of breeders would like to see this stallion under the saddle. Gert-Jan is explaining it's really early, he's very green, but he does want to show him today under the saddle. This Vamos Junior, the reserve champion of the KWPN Stallion Inspection in 2026. And he's no less than the full brother to Vamos Amigos, who performed at the highest level with Catherine Dufour, got medals, individual and with the team in hurling, and is of course an offspring by Vitalis, Hotline and Sandro Hit. Only 3 years old, very green. Horse with a lot of suppleness in his body, beautiful presence, very good character, very workable. It's only ridden less than 10 times, Gert-Jan is explaining. So he's showing himself really well. For a 3-year-old, it's outstanding how he's behaving. It's a very complete stallion with a very, very interesting pedigree. The full brother of Vamos Amigos, named Vamos Junior, the reserve champion of the KWPN stud book. He's still very green, Gert-Jan is explaining, but he's really showing a very good presentation. Premium stallion by Vitalis, Hotline and Sandro Hit. Only 3 years old and showing himself in a super way, this 3-year-old Vamos Junior. And we saw already Nalgro. Now we will see his brother, Allegro. Allegro, with a size of 1.70 m, is base stallion born in 2018, approved in the KWPN, NRPS, Oldenburg and Hanover stud book. A son of Inclusive, out of Negro, Gershwin, Heidelberg. So once again, out of the full sister of Allegro. This extremely talented stallion. Talent, complete, chic and interestingly bred. He was 3rd at the World Championships last year in the 7-year-old class. Although he did not have too many show experience, did already a fantastic job at the World Championships. Afterwards already some really good small tour shows, and is now gaining experience at international level. Super mentality, a lot of energy, a lot of go, but always keeping his cool as well. A lot of power. And same like Gert-Jan explained with Nalgro, also this Allegro has a really good connection in the back, in the loins. It gives them a lot of ease in the higher exercises.
En ja, deze Allegro heeft natuurlijk eigenlijk, wat ons betreft, voor een moderne dressuurpaard eigenlijk alles. Hij heeft heel veel uitstraling. Hij wil werken, staat altijd aan.
Gert-Jan is explaining that this Allegro has everything it takes for a modern dressage stallion. He has a lot of go, a lot of quality, always trying his best. On top of that, very interestingly bred, with of course the full sister of Olympic champion Allegro as a mother. Only 8 years old and trained already at Grand Prix level. He also has the go, the quality, but has a bit more cool. And especially combined with the full sister of Allegro makes him to a very interesting breeding stallion. Allegro is still world record holder. So everything is there. Pedigree, quality, presence in this only 8-year-old Allegro. The bronze winner in the World Championships in Vern in the 7-year-old class. They will do bit by bit the training towards the Grand Prix. So they will give him the time to develop even more, and then they really see him as a future Grand Prix superstar. Gert-Jan is explaining. They will give him the time to develop, the time he needs to grow into a superstar Grand Prix horse. Allegro is available with fresh semen in the full EU. They want to give him the chance also to show himself in breeding. So he is fresh available this season. This a very complete Grand Prix talent, Allegro. Beautiful presentation once more by Lottie Fry.
Ik denk dat hij wel een beetje ondersteuning kan gebruiken, volgens mij kan hij dat wel aan. Ja, ik vind het toch nooit te vragen. Je zegt dat, dat moet je zelf vragen. Dus nee, dan kunnen ze mij dus zo geven. Dat is het.
Showing a lot of talent also for Piaf and Passage.
Ondersteuning kan gebruiken, volgens mij kan hij dat wel aan. Ja, ik vind het toch nooit te vragen. Je zegt dat, dat moet je zelf vragen. Dus nee, dan kunnen ze mij dus zo geven. Dat is het.
Showing a lot of talent also for Piaf and Passage. A lot of applause here by the audience. Allegro. Grand Prix superstar in the making.
For the future, where sport means leading, Allegro. En nu gaan we kijken, een hengstvuller.
Hengstvuller, maar wel een heel jong vuller.
It will be a colt, a young colt, only a few days old. He's by Allegro, out of a mother by Johnson.
Ja, een vuller met apart veel rasuitstraling.
Really a lot of presence, this young foal.
Als je net die Allegro gezien hebt, dan zie je toch ook een beetje terug in dit vuller. Met dezelfde uitdrukking, wakker.
He really wants to show himself. He already lifts the withers and the shoulders. Shows a lot of quality in the movement already. Only a few days old. Beautiful type by Allegro and Johnson.
Hij blijft mooi tact houden. Hij maakt zijn eigen mooi groot. Komt mooi omhoog voor. Allegro heeft natuurlijk nog niet zo heel veel gedekt, maar ja, dit ziet er wel heel goed en veelbelovend uit.
There are not so many offsprings of Allegro yet, but this looks very promising for the future.
Ja, super mooi. Voor wie zat aan de fokkers van dit geurde van de Allegro, Mal Johnson.
Kento. Black 172 is the height. Born in 2015. Proved for the KWPN, Oldenburg, Westphalian, Hanover and SF Stadbook. By Negro, Jazz, Juventus, Rubinstein 1, Doruto, Heidelberg and Amor. World champion as a 6-year-old, world champion as a 7-year-old. KWPN Horse of the Year 2022. A black pearl, who reminds a lot of his father Negro. He became world champion with the absolute top score of 96%. He already is performing at big tour level with scores close to 70%. He was the record scoring stallion in the performance test with 90 points, won the stallion presentation, got 5 times the ultimate 10 at the World Championships. His son Pjethro already performed really well in sports and showed himself beautifully this afternoon, also ridden by Lottie Fry. In 2026, his son Kento became a premium stallion in the last KWPN stallion selection. And his oldest offspring really stand out under the saddle. For example, Patchouli Vera was the winner of the Pavo Cup. Felicity was the winner of the qualifier in the Pavo Cup. He did really good in the mare test. Etienne is explaining he really focused also a lot on breeding with Kento because he has impressive offsprings and he sees him a little bit as a gift, this Kento. He really has a lot of his father. Negro is a modern type version of Negro, this Kento. It's a very welcome stallion to have here at the stallion station in Den Hout. Negro sadly passed away last year, but this Kento is really going to be the next in line. A super breeding stallion. We saw a lot of offsprings, beautiful types with good mentality under the saddle. He himself performing at the highest level in the Grand Prix with Lottie Fry, world champion as a 6- and 7-year-old. Showing beautiful tempi changes here. And of course he has a beautiful presence.
Was wereldkampioen als 6-jarige, was wereldkampioen als 7-jarige, werd bij het KWPN de paard van het jaar.
Also fresh available this year Kento.
Kento, premiehengsten dit jaar in 2026. Zetten er nog even zo'n mooi muziekje achter. Kento.
Real breeding stallion. Proved himself already in sport up to the highest level. This superstar Kento. We hope you enjoyed all the really good quality stallions here this afternoon in Den Hout. This is the last stallion of this afternoon.
Hartelijk bedankt natuurlijk voor uw belangstelling. Ondanks dat de weersberichten een beetje twijfelachtig waren.
Gert-Jan is thanking the audience
Wij hebben een fijne show gehad.
here live in Den Hout, but also of course you online in Clip My Horse.
U allemaal hartelijk bedankt voor uw
Gert-Jan thanks his team, the riders, the grooms, his wife Anna. Also speaks to the breeders, thanks them for being here. And you can anytime, if you have questions, ask them to Gert-Jan. If you want breeding advice, he hopes for a good breeding season this year.
Mooie ereronde geven en zo namens ons hele team, mevrouw en iedereen. Hartelijk bedankt voor uw belangstelling en we zijn u graag.
Thanks everyone again for the interest. Thanks to the team. Thanks to Anna. Beautiful last rounds of world champion Kento. Beautiful last presentation here this afternoon by Kento. Thank you for watching the Stallion show of Van Olst horses, where sports meets breeding. Thank you and hopefully see you again.